Section 3 of Chapter 6 is more factoring. Yay! I love it. I know. It's okay. You can hang in there. All right, factoring trinomials. The only difference is we're going to have a constant in front of our x squared term. It's the exact same thing. It's just one more little tweak. All right, here we go. So what's going to happen is we still have a trinomial, just like we did in the last section, but now we've got, it's not just x times x to get that first term. We can still do this though. Watch this. So now, in order to get that first term, we also have to look to see what combinations make this. So we know for sure that x times x makes x squared, but now we have to see, 1 times 3 makes 3. Oh, those are the only choices. So in this case, it's rather simple. We've got x and we've got 3x to make 3x squared. All right? No problem. So now we go to the last term. The 2 is 1 times 2, and those are the only options. We can also look to see this is a positive term, so the signs are going to be the same. And we know this one is positive, so both of the signs are going to be positive. All right, so now to get our 2, we just have to have a 1 and a 2. So we can just put in, maybe we want to put in 1 and 2 here. So then we go and we check, and we see the outsides are 2, or let's see, 2 times, or x times 3x is 3x squared. That's our first term. 2 times x is plus 2x. 1 times 3x is plus 3x. And 1 times 2 is plus 2. We combine these, and we get 5x. And looky there, I was fortunate enough to get the right answer. What if I had swapped those and said x plus 2 and 3x plus 1? Do you see where I got that? What if I had just flip-flopped those? Well, I would catch it then when I checked it, because x times 3x is 3x squared. X times 1 is plus x. 2 times 3x is 6x. And 1 times 2 is 2. And these middle terms are 6x plus 1 is 7x. And that's not the same as 5x. So this is going to be a little bit more tricky as far as you're going to have a little bit of guessing and checking going on to see which combination, because now you have the pieces. Now you have to put the pieces in the right place in order to get the right answer. All right. So that one we happened to put them in the right place right at the right time. Let's see if we can do the same thing again. So here we've got 2 binomials. 2 is 1 times 2, and that's easy. So we're going to have a 2x and an x. 6 is a little bit more difficult now because there's more than just one option. So we can take 1 times 6, or we can take 2 times 3. Okay? So, and we also know that the signs are going to be the same because it's positive, and the signs are going to be negative because they have to add together to be negative. So 2 negative signs, and so now we just kind of start putting numbers in and kind of seeing. The more you do these, I'm going to have you practice a lot of these. The more you do them, the more you'll see how the combinations are going to work. And you'll say, well, I need a larger number in the middle, so I need these numbers to be further apart. Or this is a smaller number, so I need these numbers to be closer together. You'll start seeing what the combinations look like. So, sorry, it's just practice. Here we go. You can do this. So, we want either 1 times 6 or 2 times 3. Let's just pick some numbers. What about 1 and 6? So, if you put a 1 and 6 in there, then you check your outsides and your insides. You know your first and your last are going to work. So, check your outsides and insides. 2 times x, 2x times negative 6 is negative 12x. And 1 times x is negative x. So that's negative 12, 13. That's 13x. That's not going to work. Too big. And that's pretty large, but we multiplied the 6. So maybe you can swap it and put the 6 here and the 1 here. 2x, negative 2x, and 6x, negative 6x, 6, 7, 8x. Ooh, negative 8x is close, but not quite. Okay, so we know we've checked the 1 and the 6, so that's not an option. Okay, so just use the 2 and the 3 now and just put them in. 2 and 3. 2 times 3 is, there's a negative 6x. And 2, this is going to be too big because we already have 6 plus 2 more is going to be 8. So it's not that. So it should be the other way around. So 3 here and 2 here. Let's see. The outsides are 2 times 2 is 4x, negative 4x. And negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 4 times negative 3, or plus, when we're combining these, we do get negative 7x. So there's our final answer. All right. See if you can do this one. This one's got bigger numbers. Here we go. You can do this, though. You've got more options. Pause it and see what you can come up with. Here we go. Did you do it on your own? Haha. All right, here we go. We've got 1 and 8. We've got 2 and 4. And over here, we've got 1 and 12, 2 and 6, and 3 and 4. Lots and lots of choices. So I'm going to tell you already that to get a number 29 in the middle, you're going to need probably your larger numbers. So let's just start with the 1 and the 8. So let's say 8x times x is 8x squared. All right. And we know that to get a negative 12x, the symbols need to be different. And now what you can do is just put them in there, because if you get the right answer, just the wrong sign, you can just switch the signs. All right. So just put them in there. You know they're going to be different. Put them in. And let's see. Let's just take probably not 12, because 12 times 8 is going to be pretty huge. So for right now, let's just rule that out. Let's go to the 2 and the 6. 6 times 8 is going to be 48. And 48 minus 2 is not going to be 29. So what about the 2 times 8? 8 times 8 is 16. And then when we subtract 6, 16 is not big enough to subtract something from it. So let's try the 3 and the 4. Do you see where I'm coming up with the logic? And the more you do, the easier it'll get. You're going to start with ones that have a lot fewer choices than this. All right, you can do this. Here we go. Try the 3 and the 4. 3 times 8 is 24. Ooh, that's not big enough because we're going to subtract. So try the 4. 8 times 4 is negative 32x. And what we have left is a 3 here. 3 times 4 is the 12. And 3x is plus 3x. So when you combine this, you're going to subtract. And negative 32 plus 3x is a negative 29x. The 29x is what we need, but we want it to be positive. So that's a quick, easy fix. What we're just going to do is make this negative and this positive. And now the 32x becomes positive and the 3x becomes negative. Do you see where I'm getting these numbers, I hope? And so now 32 minus 3 is a positive 29x. So this is your final factored answer. All right? Okay. If it's still not quite, then go back, stop, pause it, do it again, and then come back and watch my explanation again. That should help. We'll do lots and lots of them for homework. Yay, aren't you excited about that? Here we go. Let's look at this, and let me show you something here. 6x squared plus 2x plus 1. If you factor this one, same thing. 6 is 1 times 6, and also 2 times 3. And those are the only options there. 1 is easy. That's just 1 times 1. You can put those in right away because there's no other choices. All right? And you know it's going to be both the same sign, and the sign is positive. So plus 1, plus 1. Now, in order to get the outsides and the insides, you're going to have to multiply by something, 1 and 6 or 2 and 3, and then add that together to get 2x. Whatever combination you put in there, if we put in a 1 and a 6, a 1x, that's going to be x plus 6x is 7x. That's not going to work. Oh, where did our eraser go? Let's see. And if we switch them and put 1 over there and 6 over there, that doesn't help. What if we put 2 and 3? We've got 2x plus 3x is 5x. If you come up with a problem that has no solution, there is literally no way you can multiply together to get 6 and 1 and then add the outsides together and the insides together and get 2. There's no combination that will work. If you have tried every single combination and none of those combinations work, then what that means is this trinomial is prime. This trinomial will not factor and it is prime. All right? Now, most of them are not like that, so don't get frustrated and just put prime, 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 prime. I will tell you that in your homework there is one problem that is prime. Only one. All right? So if you come up with 2 or 3, then you need to go back and check some of them out. But if you get to where I've tried every combination and no combination works, every once in a while, none of the combinations work, and that means that that trinomial is prime and there is no solution. There is no factorization for that. Okay? So now you know, but there's only one. All right, last one. Here we go. Last one, and what I want you to see in this one is this. Don't forget, always, always, always first check for a GCF. Look to see if there's something in common with all of your terms that you can pull out first. If you can pull it out, then that'll make your trinomial much easier to factor. All right, so in this case, we've got 12 and 10 and 10. Oh, they're all even, so 2 will come out of all of those, and you've got an m in every single one. So let's pull out a 2m and see what's left. So 2 times 6 is 12, m times m squared gives you m cubed, plus 2 times 5 is 10, and m times another m is m squared. Signs stay the same, 2 times 6, and m is already taken out. So now this trinomial is much simpler now for us to factor. So the 6 is either 1 and 6 or 2 and 3, and this 6 is 1 and 6 or 2 and 3. All right? And we're going to use, why don't you pause and see if you can factor these 3. All right? We've factored out the greatest common factor. You factor these 3 given these parts. Put in the different pieces and you get it. Did you pause it? Did you get it? Pause it and get it first. Here we go. Don't lose your 2m out front. And let's say 2m and 3m, just because our number in the middle is small. A 5 is fairly small, and so we don't want to go with the 1 and 6 because those are pretty extreme. The number that we're multiplying here is going to be negative, so 1 is positive and 1 is negative. Remember, we can always change those signs later if we need to. And let's just try, because I happen to know, let's try 3 and 2, all right? Because 2m times 3m is 6m squared. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. For our outsides and insides, we have 2m times negative 2 is negative 4m. 3 times 3m, 3 times 3 is 9, positive 9m. And 9 minus 4 is 5m, which is what our middle term is. So this is what you should have ended up with. 2m times the quantity 2m plus 3 times the quantity 3m minus 2. All right? Really and truly with these, lots and lots and lots of practice is going to make it easier and easier and easier. So step 1, find out what are the factors of your first term and your last term, and then start putting them in different combinations so that you either add or subtract, depending on if your signs are the same, you're going to add to get that middle term, remember. And if your signs are different, remember you're going to subtract to get that middle number. All right, to get that middle term. All right, see you soon.